guys, this is Tombox, and I've been sick for the last 2 weeks, bedridden, completely dead. Just had to program something out of my life instead, and we are back. And I wish I talked about this deck 2 weeks ago, but finally I have recovered. So here's ABC and XYZ. 1, I want to summon Cyber Dragon Infinity, but 2, I don't want to play the Galaxy package because they're bricks on their own. So I decided to play 1 brick instead, and that's gonna be Union Pilot. I think you guys should probably give this card a try. I'll show it to you guys in the combo. I'll also show it to you guys why it's so good when you put it together with the unauthorized reactivation. This literally turns unauthorized reactivation, like it'll say this is your additional card. Rather than wait for your opponent to do something against you, you can just preemptively activate it. And if you have driver already set up, you have infinity, and you can infinity on 5th, which means like you're playing with Barone on board. And then you can get your second Omni Negate, you can set up your XYZ and your ABC and have proper spacing. And that's actually something that I really wanted to try out. It's been really surprising my opponent because they're like, oh, why are you activating so soon? What the hell is a Union Pilot? I'll show you what's a Union Pilot. So it's gonna be in the combo, guys. I got 4 combos for you. 1, how to eat a Nibiru if you have the proper combo, especially when they're Nibiruing you late. How to extend right past it, that's fine. Second one's just to run basic Hangar. Then there's the 2-card combo, which will start with a pretty early infinity, and then we'll show you a combo under Shifter, because Shifter is everywhere. And there's anti-Shifter everywhere too. Like, how do you actually play? I think Lancia probably is gonna be worse because you can't banish anything, but since you can't banish anything, you need to play Fiendsmith. And one of the biggest issues of the deck is the extra deck. Light locking you with the new cards, very restrictive. And so you have to play the best engine available to pair, and I think Fiendsmith is the easy go-to. At least you can play something under Lancia, and you have something you can do under Shifter as well. So that's why I'm going to show you guys in today's combo video. We're going to start with the combos, and then give you the deck list right after. So make sure you guys smash that thumbs up button. You know, also hit the thumbs up button for my good health. Hit subscribe, ding that notification bell. You guys are not going to want to miss out on our upcoming Stampede projects because the Stampede stuff, I usually love to fill up a binder. Remember, guys? I like to fill up a binder and give it away. You guys seen that series for 3 years in a row now, and it's likely going to continue. You guys don't want to miss out on that, so hit subscribe, ding notification bell. Let's get to the combos. I'm going to give you guys 4 combos that I personally use, 2 of which are going to be the basic bread and butter of just cross cannon or just 1 copy of Union Hangar. I mean, those are the 1-card combo plays, but the best plays are usually the 2-card combos that extend way past that. If you have Regulus, you get to push past a lot more. You get to establish additional negate, which is why Regulus is like a reborn with negate and additional body. It's like so much that it offers. And then finally, there is 1 line I'm going to show you guys how to play under a shotgun Shifter. And just because someone throws Shifter at you, being able to end on Cyber Dragon Infinity plus a disruption and pop is sometimes enough to keep you back in the game and maybe even to be able to counter your opponent. So I'm not going to write that off. I'm going to show you guys how to do it because I want to show you guys the strengths of the deck that you can really adapt. Starting off with Union activation, we're going to send the X head cannon to the graveyard, adding X cross cannon. And this is the 1-card play. So we're normal summoning up the X cross cannon. X cross cannon effect, we're going to equip the bead straight onto the cross cannon, and then we're going to special summon out the bead from the equip because we're not summon locked yet. And I don't think any of the new XYZs do any of those kinds of summon locking, but it does light lock you into the extra. So now we're going to take our 2 monsters, going to a Platinum Gadget. Our Platinum Gadget is going to summon out whatever the B is going to bring out, which is going to be the Yarhead. Special summon out the Yarhead from the Platinum Gadget effect. Effect of the Yarhead is going to re-equip the B from hand or graveyard, does not target, and now we can summon out the B. This is not once per turn, and neither is this. So we're going to perform a contact fuse using our Yarhead and our Platinum Gadget because it's a light machine. This is going to get into Union Controller. Union Controller will now fetch for a spell or trap card that mentions a Union monster, so we're going to get Union Hangar. We're going to activate the Union Hangar to get our Z-Zillion tank. And then to get the additional summon, we're going to use the effect of the Union Controller, just special summon our Zillion tank. And Y and Z, you know, the Zillion tank, they need to be special summoned to get their effect. So we're going to activate the effect of Zillion tank and Union Hangar, targeting the Zillion tank, and we're going to get back our Yardhead. And we're also going to equip ourselves a Union Driver. Now earlier, if you want to make a Cyber Dragon Infinity and you have the extender, say like a Regulus, then you probably would have started with the Driver first so that you can actually get the second Omni Negate onto the board. And you might even finish with a 3 Omni Negate board if you're lucky that you get to open with your Regulus. But in this case, we have our Driver and we got our Yarhead. To play it really safe against Nibiru, highly recommend just immediately just converting that particular monster into a Sea Crush Wyvern. And from here, immediately take the Union controller and the Bee Buster Drake, using those two, and making ourselves a Moon of the Closed Heaven. This particular point, we're going to go B effect once again, and this is going to help us add A. We'll have access to A, B, and C, and we'll also have access to X, Y, and Z. So if your opponent throws a Nibiru here, most people that play Nibiru, and luckily in this current format, Nibiru is like not as commonly mained, you get to get away with punishing your opponent and ending on a full board no matter what. Because if they don't do anything, say they don't have Nibiru, then you will just perform your Fiendsmith combo, put the Fiendsmith line here, and use these extra bodies to generate XYZ and ABC. And so therefore, it's actually very hard for your opponent to actually kind of crack through that. But regardless, if they hit you with Nibiru here, and this is kind of what I want to show you, and the second combo will just give you the basics of how to just play it properly. I get hit by Nibiru here, because they don't want us to get to Requiem. Once we get to Requiem, we get to the access to the clear Lacrima, and once Lacrima puts an engraver in there, you can always follow up, so it gets really annoying for the opponent. So they're throwing a Nib here. We get hit by Nib here, and now we got a Nib token. Our C was already there, so we get to summon out our A, and with A, we're going to banish our A, and our B, and our C. Okay, so A, B, and C are now all banished, and we get to summon out our ABC. At the same time, we also get to summon out our X, Y, and Z. So we're going to go Y, there's our Z, and there's our X. We're going to banish all these. These are all banished. And now we get to summon out our X, Y, Z if we can. So even with this, we have quite a bit of disruption against our opponent. We have 2. But we still want to end on Fiendsmith. So to do that, we're just going to have to banish our X, Y, and Z. Reveal to the opponent the A, B, C. And now we get to summon back our A, B, and C. And to get back into the Fiendsmith line, just take 2 of your monsters, overlay them, and go into Excitonite. And just link this off into, once again, the Requiem. And Requiem effect, this gives us access to Lacrima. Lacrima is going to throw the Fiendsmith engraver into the graveyard. And we kind of just do the same combo again, right? Just take the Lacrima and the token. And that generates our Sequence. And Sequence can activate its effect. We're going to put the Excitonite, Moon of the Closed Heaven, and our engraver, and this gives us our Desiree. Desiree's back, baby. And now we can take our Sequence and our Desiree. Now, if you want to clear off some space, you can. But in any case, you can do this. Just make ourselves into the Agnum Day, activate the Agnum Day, put it back, summon out the Desiree, and then you have Sequence. And even if the Desiree gets taken out, you can still summon back the Agnum Day. Agnum Day can summon back the Fiendsmith Desiree. So this is one form of disruption just from this getting removed. And so this is kind of what we're ending off here. But if you want to go all out, banish the A, banish the B and C, summon out your second ABC. You should have enough material to kind of go card for card your opponent. So this is where I would say, hey, you can take out the Nibiru token right away, and then your opponent can try to play through whatever you have here, which is going to be very, very difficult, not to mention that there is an OTK damage just from this alone. Alright, so this is a new Hangar combo. Activate the Union Hangar effect. Grab the basics. B. Almost about B. Hangar effect, equip onto the B, the Union driver, banish the Union driver to equip, say, C or A, it doesn't really matter, let's go for C for now. Push summon out the C onto the field. If you already have another name in hand, that's even better because you can actually start chaining against your opponent. But for now, let's do it simple. We're going to link them away into a Platinum Gadget. This is the way that you can play it in the most greedy fashion available, because you're going to push for everything available, XYZ, Fiendsmith, everything. Effective B, we're going to get the Airhead, and then we're using Platinum Gadgets effect, special on the Airhead. Or if you had the both Chain Link, you got Chain Link 1C, Chain Link 2B, then you can add this and special summon. It also works. Or if it's already in hand, then you go Chain Link 1B, Chain Link 2C, then guaranteed to summon no matter what. In this case, regardless, we get the summon of the Airhead. Airhead is going to equip the B back on, and then we're going to summon out the B just so that we have the additional body to follow up. Now we're going to take the two monsters from our extra monster zone and the airhead. That's going to link summon, or rather contact fuse into our union controller. This time we're leaving the extra monster zones spared out because we're going to need the space here so that we can put the Buster Drake into the graveyard when we perform our first link summon. And with the union controller, we want to maximize the number of monsters we generate, so we want to get access to C cross cannon, and that's going to be the activation of union activation. So we're going to add activation. Alright, we're going to activate it, send it into the graveyard, head cannon, and we're going to get the cross cannon into hand. Special summon our cross cannon because we have a union monster here, and cross effect, we're going to get the Zillion tank that way. Alright, and so if you're going to push up the Zillion tank now, this is going to get the airhead back. And so that means cross cannon and our Buster Drake is now free. But we haven't used the summon effect of our union controller, so that's why we want to keep the union controller, and we're going to be linking away these two into our Moon of the Closed Heaven. This is going to trigger our Buster Drake, and that's going to add the final piece that we did not get, which is the A Assault Core, and we can use union controller to special summon out the A Assault Core, or we can use the airhead to do it as well to equip onto the board straight up, but I don't think that's necessary. Now at this point we can special summon out the airhead and use this to maximize the advantage that we get. And the airhead can summon, get the B back onto the field, and we have everything here available. We get to the point where we can perform Fiendsmith combo, so we can now link this one away into our Requiem. And we need space, so ASL Core can technically just equip onto one of our other Zillion tanks, and this is going to give you the space of the Requiem. Requiem is now going to summon a Lacrima. Lacrima is going to dump into the graveyard the Fiendsmith Engraver. We need a lot of space to work this out. And so I want to maximize the number of cards I can regain in my hand so that I can pay for basically the cost of popping cards. So we're going to get rid of our Lacrima and our B. With Lacrima and B, we get to Fiendsmith Sequence. B effect. Let's just use that to grab another B into our hand. Now you can use Sequence effect. You can put back our Moon of the Closed Heaven, Fiendsmith Requiem, and our Engraver. And this is going to give us our Desiree. And now we still have a ton of bodies here, and we have to clear it out somehow. So if you want to clear out the additional bodies, you can use the 3 monsters just so that we can make some space into the Agnum Day. And Agnum Day can still do its thing where it can equip itself with the Desiree summon out, and then Fiendsmith Sequence can re-equip. We still have a bunch of bodies here. What we can do is if you want to mess with your opponent, you can overlay the 2 and make an Excited Knight just so that we have additional threats. Again, sometimes you want to go into the battle phase. This puts the ASL Core into the graveyard. You can banish A, B, and C out of the graveyard now. And this is going to summon out your ABC. Now, if you wanted to do something else and you wanted the XYZ as well, then just don't make the Excited Knight. Just banish all of these cards instead, including the X Cross Cannon in the graveyard. And now you have yourselves XYZ and ABC. And this is enough fodder to kind of pop off everything. And you have a follow-up. Even if you get Kaiju or whatever, you can just tag back out into your 3 pieces. And you can summon it twice, which means your extra deck is super loaded. And you also have a Cyber Dragon Infinity to follow up on the turn after. How do you get Infinity? It's simple. You summon out to a C. Use this to equip the Pilot. Pilot effect does the little back to hand summon and put this, and then you can summon this. Now you have Infinity, and then you can make Infinity plus all these other crazy wacky plays against your opponent. So there's a lot of stuff you could go on with this one. Okay, so for combo 3, we have ourselves a Union Hangar and the Cross Cannon. This is 2 card. We're going to activate the Hangar first, and this is going to give us access to our B. Summon out the B Hangar effect. That's going to equip the Union Driver. Now, Union Driver can't go directly into Pilot because Union Driver has an effect that limits it to level 4 or lower. And unfortunately, Pilot's not going to be that free. So, we're going to activate it, we're going to banish it, and then we're going to equip our C. Okay. And then we're going to special summon out our Cross Cannon. So, summon 1, summon 2, Cross Cannon effect. Cross Cannon can equip the Union Pilot. In fact, it doesn't really care about levels. Just have to be machine. Cool. Why not? So we get to the summon of this. You can equip an appropriate light Union machine monster from your deck to this card. So this is appropriate because you can equip this into anything. Use Pilot effect, add it back to your hand, and equip the Union Driver, and then special summon out the Pilot. And then now you can use the effect of the Union Driver, summon itself back out. That's also a possibility, which is also great. And summon number 5. Now we've gotten to the point where we got to our, let's see, Cyber Dragon Nova. If they decide to kind of nuke our board here, well, then they can meet our best friend here of Invoke Mecha, but we're still going to try to continue to play. But in any case, if they don't, well, welcome Cyber Dragon Infinity onto the field. And now we proceed to combo just all the same. So we can go for our C Crush Weapon, special summon onto the field, and we can take our Cross Cannon and our B Buster Drake, Link Summon into our Platinum Gadget. Platinum Gadget is going to be able to summon out the Airhead we're about to add. We're going to get the Airhead special summon. We're going to re-equip our B, and now we can go B Summon. And now we can take these two once again, and we can Contact Fuse into our Union Controller. Union Controller effect. This time we need to get to the Zillion tank directly. So what we're going to do is we're going to use Union Activation as our option. Activate the Union Activation. We're going to toss into the graveyard a B into the grave. And once B hits the grave, that means we have a matching attack stat for our Zillion tank. Union Controller, special summon out the Zillion Tank. Zillion Tank, equip the Airhead. Take the B Buster Drake and the Union Controller. Perform Link Summon into Moon of the Closed Heaven. So all of this is still like pretty direct, simple. And, oop, that's not... Yeah, Moon of the Closed Heaven. And you can just summon out the Airhead here, but before we do anything, B Buster Drake effect. Finally, we get ourselves the A piece into our hand. Once we get to this point, everything usually, well, with the Infinity, is already pretty safe. Airhead effect, special summon, and this is going to get back our B. We want to load our hand along the way too, so whatever that helps. And we're going to take the Moon of Closed Heaven, link that into Requiem effect, summon out our Lacrima effect. We're going to toss into the grave the Engraver. Now we have this stuck in our hand, so we need to modify our hand a little bit. So we're going to perform a Link Summon into our sequence. C effect can now summon out the ASL core straight from the hand. And B Buster Drake can summon out, but we don't have that kind of space right now. So sequence effect first. And we're going to put the Engraver, Requiem, Moon. These can all go back into the decks. And that's going to summon out our Desiree. Now we're going to take 3 bodies to make this Desiree. Just so that it's just going to provide us with a little bit more to work with. And so it's going to take our Zillion tank. Well, no, we're going to take the Airhead. Because I want to put the Buster Drake back into the graveyard. And these are going to be three monsters into our Agnum Day. B Buster Drake is now going to toggle once again in trigger. And this is going to give us another piece of something to discard. And preferably, it's going to be another ABC piece. And as for the rest of these guys, well, let's make some space. Agnum Day effect. Summon back our Desiree. And then we can get our sequence also equipped onto the Desiree. And let's just take all of these. Well, these two. Well, ABC first. Let's put the ABC where it belongs. On the bottom side. And where's my C? There are ABC pieces here. We're gonna summon ABC Dragon Master here. And then we're going to take our Z, Y, X, summon it into the extra monster zone. Therefore, we have 2 pops, 2 Omni, we have discard fodder for everything, and it was more or less a pretty safe way to actually get to this point. Okay, so sometimes you're gonna have the 2-card combo, and then your opponent's like, Shifter. Well, that means you don't get access to your graveyard's completely stunned out. So this is the combo that I kind of came up with, and Malice is gonna Shifter you no matter what. So we're gonna go with Hangar. Hangar effect, we're gonna instead search for our XYZ pieces instead of our ABCs. ABC is gonna have a very tough time trying to generate all the names, but XYZ is not going to have that issue. If we already have X, go for the Y. It's all good. It's all fun and games here, because the first thing we're gonna do is we're gonna normal summon the Y. Y is gonna get targeted by the Hangar effect, and we are going to grab. Does it really matter? I don't think it really matters here. Let's just grab the vehicles. The Union Driver. Okay, and Union Driver effect, we're gonna banish it since, you know, we can still banish cards. We're gonna go for Union Pilot, and then Union Pilot can do its thing. All right, activate Union Pilot, and we're gonna get the driver put back onto the Y, and this is gonna add to hand and special summon itself. Driver effect, special summon itself, because we can now. It's through the effect of Pilot after all. Overlay the 2 and make ourselves into a Cyber Dragon Nova and into an Infinity. On the other hand, special summon out our X cross cannon effect, and we're gonna mess around with this a little bit. You could technically try to make ABC. I don't think it's gonna be successful at all. So instead, we're gonna use that to grab our Zillion tank. And since we can't put them into the graveyard, we just take all our pieces here and just make an XYZ Hyper Dragon Cannon, or rather Hyper Dragon Cannon. And this gives us access to at least like an Omni Negate and a pop against the opponent, which is still pretty useful if your opponent's trying to. Okay, to be fair, against Malice, one of the annoying thing is that even if you destroy their Malice monster, they're going to summon back. So you got to wait till they commit into something that's non-Malice, and then you hit those particular areas. And if you try to go for a field spell, you can absorb the field spell. It's really fun in the regard that you at least can still try to do something. And hopefully you do survive. Maybe you have some back row to pair it. Just one additional back row, like even a book or something like that, is probably going to be the saving grace, because once you get back to your turn and you have Infinity can absorb whatever a special summon monster your opponent leaves on an attack position, if it does get to that particular point. And this is also like one of the best outs against like Heart's Cryptor, because Heart's Cryptor, you banish it, it's a problem, put it in the graveyard, it's a problem, but you absorb it and then they get really, really upset. So this is kind of the way to eat into the Shifter, and so you don't auto die. Other ways to eat into Shifter, if your extra deck has space for Baguska, you just go for Hangar into Baguska, and you can pass on Baguska. That's a lower ceiling extra deck, but that's kind of how I did it before well, all the XYZ stuff came out. So this is kind of the way that if you want to play much more aggressive, you can. So now that you've seen the combos, I'm going to give you guys a rundown of the deck list. There's actually 6 categories of cards in here. We've got the 1-card starters. We've got the, I guess, the semi-bricks. They're not really bricks, they're just combo pieces, but they don't work on their own. They can work if you have either the 1-card starter or you have the extender package, which we have 6 cards for. And then we have the true bricks. And then we have the Fiendsmith package, so that, you know, it's a solo package. It also kind of has weird synergy when it comes to being able to use the Fiendsmith track to discard some of the extra names in your hand. It's just like niche situations, I can talk about that. And then there is the board breaker / hand trap package. Alright, so let's start off with the 1-card combo pieces first. So of course we have Union Hangar, Union Hangar, Union Hangar. You should max on this. This card's like the best starter you have. One of the best field spells. One definitive point where field spells became some of the best cards in the game. So 3 Union Hanger, and to go with the 3 Union Hanger, we also have 1 Terraforming and 1 Set Rotation. Set Rotation probably being the better start, because you start with this, you put a card on your opponent's side, and they forget that it's going to put a field spell on their side. They can't activate their Fuelos anymore, they can't activate Imperms anymore. It just makes life a whole lot safer at the sacrifice of your Therian field spell, which is fine. Okay, and then so those are the 1 card starter for field spells, your 1 card starter for Union activation. This is the way to get into X Cross Cannon. X Cross Cannon is your 1 card starting play, and this is also technically an extender of sorts if you started with X Cross Cannon already, and of course none other than X Cross Cannon, X Cross Cannon, and X Cross Cannon. Triple X Cross Cannon. So these are your 1 card starters, because this one can give you the X right straight from the deck, and then you can summon, so it provides you with 2 bodies automatically going into your Platinum Gadget play. Now, as for the other package, so the worst one is probably going to be ASL Core, so play 2 copies of ASL Core. The best one, B for Best Boy, we have 3 copies of our B Buster Drake, and then our, our good boy, C Crush Wyvern. This card is still very much powerful because it still gives you the extension that your opponent might not see, especially if you're holding cards in your hand. Now the odd ones, now these ones are okay because if you can still accept 3 names, you still get ABC. The odd ones are going to be 1 copy of X and 1 copy of Z. Sorry, not X, Y, and Z. Man, I don't know my alphabets, guys. So this is important if it's in your hand already, because it helps you bypass your first search. Even if they go Ash your first B and this is already in hand, you don't care. You're going to play right through it, and you're going to be able to push super hard. And that's fine, because you're still going to be able to get 2 more Bs, and therefore you're going to be able to grab your C and your A along the way. Z Zillion Tank, if it's already in your hand, that's also pretty beneficial because you can search for your A, B, or C pieces instead when it comes to the midway search point for your Union Hanger or for your Union activation. And these are, of course, not once per turn. Now, for extenders, it's pretty obvious. The first set of extenders is going to be Therian Regulus. Along with that, it's going to be the Disc Coliseum. This is the Monster Reborn, and even if you don't Reborn, you still special summon itself out, so you provide yourself with an Omni Negate that's really strong already. It's a 2800 body, and it doesn't get stuck under the light restriction because the light restriction is only for the extra deck. So this is there to kind of help you give yourself an additional body to summon, and well, you can push it up, now you have 2 bodies. Worst case scenario, you have a body in the grave, which is a B, and you can just use Regulus and the B to make the Platinum Gadget, and therefore this is like a really strong extender overall. Now the other one that I don't really talk about enough, in fact most people say that, oh yeah, you can use this Digger for like Union Driver. It's true. You can also use this card to extend into Union Pilot. This automatically gives you Cyber Dragon Infinity. In fact, I'll just show you guys how it's done right now here in the deck profile. So say I have Hangar and I have Activation. These 2 will provide you with one of the safest openings in the entire game because it's fairly simple. First thing you do, you go for a B Buster Drake, right? So Hangar and the B Buster Drake. B Buster Drake, now you get yourself the Union Driver. Activate the Union Driver to equip yourself with, it doesn't really matter which one here, let's say Crush Wyvern, okay? And then you activate Unauthorized Activation, Reactivation, equip yourself with the Pilot. These are both equipped. Summon number 2 is going to activate the Pilot, re-equip the Driver, summon out Pilot from hand. Now summon 2, a Driver summon itself, summon 3, overlay the 2, you get yourself the first copy into the Cyber Dragon Infinity package, which will be the Nova, and then you can drop yourself into an Infinity. And this is summon number 5. And therefore, now you can push the Crush Wyvern, you feel so much safer doing this play. So this is like Hangar activation start. I guess I didn't really showcase it, but yeah, here you go. I threw it in there just so that you guys know why I play the activation and the additional use of activation in Pilot. But unfortunately, Pilot is part of a different Pilot program. Okay, so in terms of activation, 3 copies of it because it guarantees to help you extend because it's mini Union Hangar. Okay, that's what it is. And so 3 unauthorized reactivation, and it also kind of acts as your call by the grave, so they can protect some of your light machine monsters from going into your opponent's hand traps. True Bricks now. True Bricks. These are your True Bricks. You don't want to see these in your hand. Although it doesn't hurt as much seeing Driver these days because most of the combo in the beginning with Platinum Gadget no longer requires you to actually use the Union driver. It only matters if you open only the field spell and you open, so it's a really odd combination of cards. Same with Pilot. Pilot doesn't really do anything. You can technically summon it out, equip and tag out and get yourself a double summon, which is fine. But Pilot is usually stronger when it comes to the turn coming back, because once you get the drivers that's already banished, you know you have a Cyber Dragon Infinity to absorb one of your opponent's monsters. And that's why Pilot, I still think, is worth playing. I know a lot of people aren't playing this thing, but I do recommend trying it out if you want to shortcut your way into a Cyber Dragon Infinity without using a Galaxy package. Because Galaxy package, I think it's not bad either because it provides you with discard outlets. So personally, it's still like not bad, but this is just my opinion. And X Headcanon being the Garnet of the deck, it is the worst thing to have in your opening hand. Although if you have activation, I guess you can still dump it into the graveyard, because I believe you can dump from hand as well, if I'm not mistaken. Let's give it a quick read just to make sure. Yeah, you can send one Light Machine Monster from your hand or deck, so that's fine. So if you have it, it's okay, but you're gonna be playing with a -1. Then the Fiendsmith package, triple Fiendsmith Engraver, 1 Lacrima, 1 Lurie, and then 2 tracks, okay? 2 tracks and 1 Paradise. This gives you a lot of siding space as well that you can take out when it comes to siding. And finally, when it comes to the board breaking package, we are trying to minimize our odds of seeing these cards, so we're gonna go up to 50. I think the odds of seeing 1 is around, trust me, it's still a pretty big number, it's around like 30-something% of your 5 bricks that you don't want to see, like XYZ. What I would say is, but seeing 2 is probably the worst case scenario, so you don't want to see 2, and usually 2 is around 7% now, based off of the calculation. As for the board breakers, triple droplet, it's just a given. You need something that's non-targeting board breakers, so I also play triple Eclipse, so this can help you turn off boards with like single card use. And droplet also provides you with the discard outlet, and if you discard into like Theory and Regulus play, that's totally fine. It's really, really powerful. That's why droplet is the go-to, and since non-targeted, it works best. 1 Call by the Grave, because it's Called by the Grave. Now, as for the rest of here, we have triple Imperm. Things that you can top deck into don't feel so bad. And the card that you probably don't want to top deck into is triple Ash. This is mainly just to deal with Mulch Armies, okay? I'll try to keep it within the budget here, not, well, Fiendsmith, you'll probably know. I think you guys already know what's going on with that one, so it's pretty much going to be budget. So, yeah, triple Ash, and that's the main deck. Okay, for the extra deck, we have the XYZ Hyper Dragon Cannon and 2 ABC Dragon Busters. If I could play a 3rd copy or even a 2nd copy of XYZ, I would, but the Fiendsmith package consumes about 5 additional cards, which makes it a little bit more impossible. Now, as for the other must-play, you have to play Platinum Gadget, you have to play Union Controller because it's the fetcher of your Union spell cards. And I think one must-play right now is Lina, the Light Charmer, because you can summon back your opponent's Detonator. Blue Eyes is also in the mix if you're playing against Mirror Match ABC. You'd be surprised at what you can actually just take out of your opponent and then proceed to make a Fiendsmith combo if you want. But aside from these pieces, one additional card that likely you will play will be Excite Knight, because nuking the board and then building your ABC combo is another fun way to just extend past your opponent and just ability to play, really. Now, I'll also talk about some of the things that aren't in the deck list, because these are the ones that if you play more pure build, these are the cards you can consider. One of the biggest issues with the extra deck is that you are light locked. This light lock isn't a joke. There isn't exactly a lot of strong options that can interact with your opponent. You can do like Firewall Dragon, but like there's not a lot of Xyzs that are like that powerful that are under the light category. Now, for the Fiendsmith package, we have 1 Moon of the Closed Heaven. As for our bridge, we have our Engraver. Sorry, not Engraver. This is Requiem, into Sequence, into Agnum Day, into our Desiree, and that would make up for our Fiendsmith package, but it does eat up a lot of space. And so those were the 5 here, and we had our 7 here, I believe. Yeah, it's about 7. And so we have 3 more cards, and the 3 cards are dedicated to the Cyber Dragon Infinity play. So 1 Nova, 1 Infinity, and 1 Mechaba, just in case, because we do have points where we hit 5th card Nova, and if we hit 5th card Nova, then Mechaba might be important because they might drop an early nib on you. But if you have a follow-up, then that means Mechaba, then you still build like Fiendsmith ABC with a Mechaba. It's still very, very strong. Now, yes, this is a Korean Cyber Dragon Infinity. This is a QCR. given to me at Worlds by our Korean content creator. So I decided to kind of highlight it. I'll take it out during the real tournament, but that is what it is. Now, what about the cards that if you want to take out the Fiendsmith package for? If you want to take out the Fiendsmith package, which means Desiree, Agnum Dave, like all of these, they can be taken out. And what are they going to be replaced with? Number one is probably going to be Moon of the Close Heaven. It's just so powerful that you can take all your ABC pieces that you tag out for and then just break your opponent's board. So this is kind of a must play. Proxy Dragon is just one card that can provide you with side arrows. I think it's very useful. It's also super generic. So if you want to just load your hand with more material while making ABC pieces, then this is what you can go for. And additionally, one Baguska. This is to help you pivot against a shifter. Alright, so if you start with Hangar, Hangar get hit by Shifter and you don't have a proper line and you know that your opponent can't really play under this, like Malice sometimes need to hard open. I don't know what they really need to hard open. They need to hard open like a name plus a Bestial to push through it, or an Imperm, then this is probably your go-to. Silo Hat Rabbit, this is going to force you to play another card in your main deck, but it's fine. And one additional card, that's the classic combo, which is IP Masquerena. That means you need to cut another space. You have to cut another space if you're going to play IP, which would be for SP. And that would be my switcheroo. But yeah, aside from that, that is my current build. There is another card I can talk about, which is like Galaxy Photon Dragon. This card is good, but we don't actually have the one dragon that I really want, because if we do have the it's like a level 4 light dragon that you can add, and if you have like Xyz, you can summon it, and then you can use this to change the level so that you can go for rank 8. So you can go with number 90 Galaxy Photon Lord. So that's like the thing that we don't have that I kind of want to play. You can actually get Photon Lord plus the Infinity in the future, but right now that's not possible because that's an OCG exclusive. So that is all I have for this build. That's all I got for this video. Sorry if I'm not more energetic because I'm still in recovery mode, but I do appreciate you guys for coming by to hear about me talking about ABCs, one of my favorite decks. I really am probably just going to be playing this for the next little bit until the ban list drops, and even after the ban list drops, I might do an update, especially if Fiendsmith takes a hit. I mean, there's a very good chance that Fiendsmith will likely take a hit, but it really depends if they want to, you know, keep them around. If not, there's still probably ways to kind of minimize and cut down on the engine itself. But thank you guys for watching. Hopefully you guys enjoyed the ABC. Leave it a comment down below. I want to hear about your opinion on ABC. What are your thoughts about Union Pilot and unauthorized reactivation as an additional line extender? And all that stuff. And if you got other ways to play, let me know down below. And I'll see you all in the next one, and have a wonderful day.